Mr. Rockman. Mr. Brooks. Mr. Duran Harris.
Here.
Ms. James. Here. Ms. Keith. Here. Mr. LaGoy.
Here.
Dr. Patel. Here. Ms. Toth. Here. And Ms. Gonzalez. Here. We have a quorum, Dr. Zakowski and Mrs. Gonzalez. Thank you.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Friday, April 23rd, 2021, in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, Old George's Road, Brunswick. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, Sentinel, and the clerk of the Township of New Brunswick. Delivered to the 9 newly elected board members. This evening, we have a couple of presentations, and I believe Dr. Zakowski will lead us through those.
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome. I see a lot of Parson Penguins in the audience, and it's their night to show us a little bit about Parsons for the board. We want the board to come sit here so they can watch. Yeah, board members, we have some X'd out seats so we keep proper spacing. We're going to show a video, and Diane, Miss Welling, our principal for Parsons, will take you through it. So let me get that set up, and if you can find a seat here. And then we'll ask you to sit here for the next presentation, which will be also a slideshow. All right.
How are you?
Should we do something?
I can sit next to you.
Right, all the way in the back.
Just remember, everyone, you are mic'd up. So if you're telling any secrets about the 2-all beef patty special sauce, do not give it away. Diane, Miss Whalen, you ready?
I am, thank you.
How does this work?
Okay, it's coming on.
I'll tell you when to start.
Okay.
It's great when you can tell your boss.
Yeah, that's right.
Good evening, Dr. Zakowski, Ms. Rumbo, and members of the Board of Education. I thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. It is my hope tonight that as we cannot bring you inside Parsons, we would like to bring Parsons to you. Throughout our presentation, we hope you gain an appreciation for our outstanding and committed staff, students, and families. At Parsons, we inspire and encourage acceptance, inclusivity, a love of learning, and the belief that trying your best leads to success. You can go ahead.
Bienvenidos a Parsons.
Bienvenidos a Parsons. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to Parsons. I hope you have a great experience here.
Hello, Parsons. Hola, Parsons.
When I think about what makes Parsons special, the first thing that comes to my mind is the students. I mean, it's amazing how much they give of themselves. They're here, they're working hard, they're trying their best, they're participating, they're doing everything that a student should do, and that's one of the things that makes the school special.
I like Parsons because I like all the fun activities that we do when it's like holidays.
The jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell ride.
Parsons is special because I think during this crazy time, we have seen a lot of resilience and a lot of people working together. We've had children come in not really sure about what this new school is and not sure how they feel about it. And we've seen them really find ways to work through it. We've worked together with families, we've worked on things so that kids can feel more comfortable, and they really have done amazingly. They've been resilient, they've learned a lot of new things and new ways to work and interact, and they've managed to be joyful in spite of it all.
I go to Parsons, I feel like I'm going to learn a lot. What's your clue, kiddo? You can buy toys, you can buy even books. And you can even buy some tents or sheds.
Who knows what it is?
And some fruits and vegetables.
What do you think it is, Shayon?
Home Depot.
Is it Home Depot, Aviu?
No.
Can you show us your building, honey?
Show it.
Whoa!
Costco is his favorite place, he told me.
That is fantastic.
Parsons School is special because they help you learn. Yeah, me too. I like how you added expression when you said that word. Like, cabin challenge, it was really cool, and I like the expression that you added. Sit? Oh yeah, it's your turn. Sam wasn't found of cleanup. Don't put the you. Yes, sorry. Parsons School is special because every day you will learn how to do multiplication, times, learn how to write better and read better.
What does 8 plus 22 equal? I want you to write it in the chat, and I'm going to say waterfall. 3, 2, 1, waterfall. There we go. Think of 2 more ways she can exercise for 30 minutes. So that means you get to use before school time and after school time. You're really just looking for 2 ways to equal 30. Wow, guys.
20.
Yes, 20 minutes.
20.
I see a bunch of ideas. So 10 and 20. I think Darwin had 7 and 23.
Yep.
Would all of these work as long as they are equal to 30?
Yes.
They will all work.
So I want you to chip out each word before you write it. Okay, so let me give you an example. If I said the first word was hitch, you're gonna go huh, and then ch. So each chip is a letter, right? But one box is a sound. They're in the same box because they all make the same sound. So we have huh, ch. Okay, now you chip out the word hitch on either the green, pick your color.
I'm just gonna do this one.
Okay, and I want to hear you sounding it out. Huh.
Yeah.
So good. Now you can write itch. Write the word hitch and sound it out with your chipboard as you write it. Let me see what you have. Good. That's perfect. Good job.
Parsons is special because they teach every kid everything they need to learn, and they could get you somewhere that you think that you can never get.
Right colors, anybody trying this at home?
I can't.
Into the jar. Watch, I'm gonna pour it into the jar.
Oh my goodness.
That's the snow. See it?
Wait, what? How is it already snowing?
Look.
What are you doing?
My daughter is a part of the pilot program for the dual language. Parsons is special because they are one of the 2 schools in the district to be afforded the opportunity to provide children with the dual experience, immersion into languages, and expanding their horizons. We had great support before the program was established in answering all of our questions. And along the way, we've been given amazing feedback. We are not Spanish speaking at home. However, I have been given assistance and tools and techniques to be able to support my daughter through that process. and she's thriving at it.
I like Parsons because you can learn different languages. Es una escuela que te puede enseñar inglés y español.
Iman, ¿cómo se llama este animal? Ga. Ajá. G. Na. ¿Puedes leer esa palabra? Gallina. Buen trabajo, Iman. Afia, ¿cómo se llama este animal? Tortuga. Tortuga. ¿Cómo se escribe la palabra tortuga? Ga. Buen trabajo. ¿Puedes leer esta palabra? Tortuga. Tortuga. Buen trabajo, Afia.
I've just been, overall happy, with the programming from the, day-to-day classroom activities and the learning, the special area teachers as well. They've, adapted really well to this situation. And gym is his favorite, now. I like how the gym teachers have incorporated, I guess, due to, the situation. The children will draw a picture and then kind of go back and forth between that and their gym activities. So they get a little break, but it's kind of like a combination, thing. So maybe if not, certain children aren't necessarily super into the gym activities, they kind of do a short little burst and they go to draw and then they go back and forth. So it kind of caters a lot to, sort of individual children.
Parsons is a very special place to me because of the students and the staff. Everyone here is so different and everybody's accepted for who they are and what they believe in. And it's what I love about this school so much is that you can be yourself and express yourself through music and other platforms and just be amazing at it and try your hardest, because trying your best leads to success.
At Parsons, we provide extension periods where students experience weekly enrichment activities provided by special area teachers. These programs give students opportunities to excel in the areas of physical education, world language, library, and the arts. They cater to the interests of students and provide cross-content connections.
Shoria, go ahead. Very good. All right, go ahead and write it in. And I'm gonna go and check to see how we're doing over here. Very nice, good responses.
So this time, the knee is pointing towards the front legs. So it's an arrow going in the other direction.
Yes, Dion.
So which is west? Can you show me?
Yeah, here, let me draw it on that map so you guys have an idea. So when we talk about the compass, we have 4 directions, right? We have north, east, south, and west. There you go. So west would be this portion of the map.
Okay.
Like over here.
I'll draw that on my map too, okay?
Okay, sure. Absolutely.
Now it's Bryson's turn. ¿Cuántos elefantes hay? Be careful, make sure you count all of them. ¿Cuántos elefantes hay? Hay 7, hay 8, hay 9, hay 10.
Hay 9 elefantes.
Hay 9 elefantes. All right, let's see if you're right. Muy bien. So Bryson, keep the points or give them away?
Give them away.
Who do you want to give them to? Let's see.
Give them to Team 1.
Plus 50. You gave away 50 points to Team 1. That's so nice.
I love Parsons School because it is fun. It has pencils.
Parsons is special because we all come together, our students, staff, families, to show our school spirit during the day and after school. I love seeing our students dressed up and participating in all the activities, and through our virtual world, we kept our spirit going the whole time.
Parsons is special because there are so many great teachers here and I get to see them every day.
When we in our zone, I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop.
As the school counselor at Parsons, I've been very impressed with how kind, compassionate, and caring the students and staff here are. Working at Parsons is a lot of fun, and I enjoy coming to work every day because of the students and staff at Parsons.
Parsons School holds a character education assembly 3 times a year to celebrate our students' social and emotional achievements. 2 students are chosen from each homeroom to receive a character award for demonstrating the character traits of the month for the marking period, such as honesty, kindness, and perseverance. In addition, all teachers select 1 student to receive an effort award. Students receiving an effort award have shown determination and motivation throughout the marking period. The Character Education Awards contribute to Parsons School's warm and positive school climate.
I like Parsons because it's a great school. You feel protective. When you first enter, you're like, okay, today's going to be a great day. And apparently it does become a great day. For trying your best is success.
Y recuerden, el éxito está en gran esfuerzo.
So what I love about being here at Parsons is the community that we have. The students and teachers are absolutely amazing here. It truly feels like home. It is a home, and we value the diversity and the creativity of all the individuals here. So go Parsons Penguins.
Y lo que he visto aquí es que es un tema más cultural. Bueno, en este colegio se enfocan mucho en la cultura, se enfocan mucho en el respeto hacia los padres, el respeto hacia los maestros y el respeto por la cultura del país y de otras religiones, otros países. Entonces es muy bueno, a pesar de la educación que empieza por casa, el colegio ha sido muy bueno y nos gusta.
Parsons is special because they have so many different students and so many different backgrounds, and I like that my kids get to interact with the other kids and learn about their cultures and backgrounds. I think that's really important. And also, all of the teachers I've encountered have been awesome. They really care about the kids, they know a lot about the kids, and they have like a good relationship with each kid. It's not like, even though they have a classroom full of a lot of kids, it seems like they have that one-on-one connection with my kids.
These differences, these gifts, these backgrounds, they're diverse and valued and appreciated. This diversity, this community, it's what makes us strong.
Parsons es especial porque tenemos una comunidad formada por los padres, estudiantes y personal llena de bondad, respeto, amor y diversidad entre todos.
What makes Parsons special is the community. The families really love their children, you can tell, and they want to be part of their education, and they welcome the teachers into their hearts and into their families as they become part of our Parsons family.
I've been around Parsons for a very long time. But, I started as a parent at Parsons in, what would that be, 2003? And so I've loved Parsons for a long time. And I think what's still true about it is that it's a neighborhood school, and that we are families who live close by, and kids come and go, and parents and aunties and uncles and grandparents know it, and there's a family sense to it. There's a sense of trust. They're trusting us with their children, and we work hard to honor that. And at the same time, we have found this year that we've been able to really work hard to support families who are going through such traumatic, different kinds of situations, and find ways to make it work, to care for one another as a community together.
Parsons is special to me because I went to Parsons as a child. But I walked here just like many of our students do, and came through the same doors and had the same excitement as everyone does today. Because that's what makes Parsons so special, is the teachers, the staff, the people here just love coming to school to teach, and the students really enjoy coming to learn. And that's what I think makes Parsons so great. Parsons Elementary School, you rock.
When I come to Parsons, I feel excited. Parsons is special because it helps people become friends.
I think Parsons is a special place to learn because there's so many different types of students here that all learn in different ways, and that makes it really special that you can learn from each other, not just from your teachers, but from each other, because everyone learns in different ways and everyone has different ideas to share.
I like Parsons because it really inspires me, and like I really feel like I have a lot of friends here, and I just love it.
Por mí, mi experiencia propia, ellos son una escuela buena, me gusta.
I like Parsons because every day it makes me feel like this is my whole family.
If there's one additional thing I would add, it would just be thank you. It's been a rough year as a parent, and even though we elected to keep my daughter home, I feel like she's still meeting her milestones and achieving everything she needs. So thank you for working with us and being there for us and providing us with the flexibility to keep our family safe in the ways that we see fit. It hasn't been easy, but I just have a great debt of gratitude. I'm grateful.
Makes me feel like this is my whole family.
If there's one additional thing I would add, it would just be thank you. It's been a rough year as a parent, and even though we elected to keep my daughter home, I feel like she's still meeting her milestones and achieving everything she needs. So thank you for working with us and being there for us and providing us with the flexibility to keep our family safe in the ways that we see fit. It hasn't been easy, but I just have a great debt of gratitude. I'm grateful.
Oh, it's beautiful.
On behalf of our entire Parsons community, we thank you for the opportunity to share a glimpse of what makes Parsons such a special place. Thank you.
Well, wait a minute, Miss Whalen, you can't go anywhere after that. I gotta do a presentation after that. No way. I just want to afford you an opportunity, or afford the board an opportunity. Any questions? I just want everyone to know, maybe for some context, you know it, you're a longtime resident here in North Brunswick. When the board and I asked you to come over and take over Parsons, said we need to bring some stability, some cohesiveness, and bring back the greatness of Parsons. And we said, just 20 years ago, Parsons was voted by the Star-Ledger as the most representative of New Jersey, most diverse and representative of what New Jersey is all about. Just 20 years ago. And we kind of went through a couple leaders. Mr. Rothenberg retired, and we had a couple people come, use Parsons as a launching pad, and leave us. And that's okay. It makes America great, but we've asked you, the board, and said, bring back Parsons, the Parsons Penguins, to their greatness. And I'm glad some of you folks were able to come in, but we think the greatness lies within Parsons as you were able to bring out the talent of the staff and the care for the students, that empathetic leadership. The PTO president, I don't know, I see that you have tears in your eyes. It's, really special when people recognize how much the staff and yourself work just to make it an individual, but yet a family-like atmosphere. That is not easy, to address the individual, but to make sure that everyone feels like a family. The children were terrific. And I know you don't have cue cards. They just say what's on your mind. We know children. So congratulations and thank you. Thank you to the staff. Board members, anything? Yes,
that was a
yes, Ms. James.
phenomenal presentation, and I know that it's just a microcosm of what happens every day. So for you to be able to capture moments like that really speaks volumes to what's happening in that school. It's things like this that really make me proud to be a board member and in the education setting, and I owe you all a debt of gratitude for doing such a phenomenal job.
Amen.
I couldn't do what I do at Parsons each and every day if it wasn't for the people who are here and those who are watching from home. My entire staff are just absolutely phenomenal, and I truly am blessed and humbled to serve them and the students of Parsons. Thank you.
Thank you again. And board members, please sit where you are. There's no way I'm topping that. One of the things, just for this audience, March 20th, we, by law, had to have a preliminary budget hearing, and we did it in front of the board. We had a full board. It was our first meeting back here as a group. We swore in our new board member, Dr. Patel, and thank God she voted yes on the budget. But by the law, we had to send it to the county, and then they sent it to the state, and it comes back with approved or not approved, and thank goodness it was approved again. And then the law continues. We're not done yet. The law says we have to have a final budget hearing, so that's what I have to do tonight. I don't want to take away the meaning of this valuable meeting. We ground our work just with why we honor our schools, but we also can't get to Parsons and do the wonderful things and have the wonderful staff without sustaining it through a budget, without having a board that has approved budget after budget with the idea that we must represent the community, because it is our community, while adhering to the integrity of our educational programming. And it just doesn't happen through, you don't hope. Hope is not a strategy. It's a lot of hard work. Ms. Shiroka, Ms. Rumbo, our principals, you all fill out forms and get back to us in needs and wants. Going back to October, we bring it up to central office. I typically take out all my red pens, but this year I didn't have to do that. We were fortunate enough that everyone had a very keen focus on wants versus needs to continue our goals and our plans, but also recognize, as our PTO president from Parsons said, a very difficult year. And it was very, not easy, but it was very accommodating as we worked together in central office to present a budget, which we're going to go through now very quickly, as we did a 3-hour meeting, maybe 2.5-hour meeting on a Saturday. Nothing's changed. I'm happy to report the state approved everything in our budget. And I'm even happy to report, thank goodness they approved it, because it's a zero tax impact, complete zero. But we didn't compromise the integrity of our strategic planning, our growth as a district. You will see we continue to provide the support. Last year we had to take our coaches and step back as pandemic caused a $4 million change in the budget that we were required to cut. But the board made a commitment that as we hopefully see restored funds, and we have, that they would reinstate all of those programs, all those support, and all of the things that we know we need to continue to maintain this movement to excellence. And I'm very happy to report and go through the budget presentation now. So if you could bear with me. No music. And thank to all of you, our comeback is greater than a setback. That's not an accident. That's saying it hangs up in my office every day since March 12th. Actually March 11th, when we informed you at 9 o'clock at night, you're not coming back. We had to stop on a dime, but we said we will be back. We said it better than MacArthur said it. We will be back, and we're going to come back, and we've been back. January 19th, you've come back, you sustained excellence. We are monitoring every day, we're adjusting every day. We had very few pauses, but the staff appreciated when we had a pause. We had some close contacts or contact tracing. The 24/7 work of our nursing supervisors, our nurses, our medical folks, working together to ensure safety of our students, staff, and families. So it's without great pleasure to say we are back. And we are back with the scale of justice. As a superintendent, we can't just say we need. How do we work within a context of supporting a budget, supporting a community in a time of need for the greatest, I think, service a community can provide, an educational system. But education is not cheap. It's very expensive, labor intensive, very individualized. And we work in New Jersey, so there's more mandates than you can't shake a stick without hitting another new mandate requirement. Yet we take that fiscal responsibility serious and we balance it with our educational integrity. Okay, there we go. So I'm happy to report that our 21-22 budget, which would allow us a 2% increase, everybody knows a 2% increase is allowed. It's on the tax levy of the general fund. We didn't take that. We balanced our budget $0 per month and $0 per year. I always put this slide up as quick as possible because people don't want to hear. They want to know, how much is my taxes going up? Well, I'm happy to report zero. Absolute zero. It's not just zero. So when you get your taxes, you get one tax bill. People forget that we took out a mortgage to build a new school, and that's built in. And that mortgages sometimes go up because based upon debt service and its state funding as a promise to do, they don't always live up to their promise. So sometimes you get a general fund, and you only vote, in the old days you used to vote just on the general fund. And your mortgage, you already approved through a referendum or through loans. People forget to include that. And then people will get their taxes, say, you said no's increase, but my taxes went up. Well, the issue is they have to pay off the debt. This board has made a promise, and we promised 4 years ago that if we got support for funding a new school, a new ECC, and doing administrative upgrades in terms of moving the board office from a building that needs to be upgraded, we would do everything we can we promised 30 years at 4.25%. We are at 2.4%, and we're down to 20 years because the first 5 years of this project has been funded through the board, zero tax increase. So it's zero again, the general fund is zero, and the tax increase will be zero. So what a great talking point. No tax increase on the budget. No means no, zero is zero. If, you're gonna see in a minute, you always hear me talk about charter schools. I don't talk about charter schools because I dislike charter schools. I dislike the funding of charter schools. I think it takes the taxpayer, and there's redundancy, there's repetition, there's overlap. And with that, and we've been fighting, so we just don't complain. The board has supported me going to Trenton before Superior Court and giving them alternatives how to fund charter schools. I don't know if you know, you may know this, but New Jersey's political, a little bit. And so sometimes the straight fiscal comments and discussion isn't always accepted because there's a political vent, there's a political viewpoint, it's a political eye that hurts sometimes. But that's another discussion. But I just want you to know our increase in charter schools is $2.2 million. If we didn't have the $2.2 million increase of charter schools that the state says we have to up our budget, we would be giving every taxpayer a decrease this next year while maintaining a fiscally sound budget that doesn't compromise the integrity of our educational programming and improves the strategic thinking and adds to the overall school budget. Complete funding for free full day. We're at 80% capacity for pre-K. We'd have 100%. We need space. We're looking for space. I saw in Parsons, Miss Whalen, thank you for including our pre-K little gappers. They're beautiful. But we said a long time ago, one of our non-negotiable essential goals was to close the achievement gap. Yet our kindergarten teachers were getting students who could read in kindergarten, and some students couldn't even look and see a sight letter, never mind a sight word. Couldn't recognize. Why? Because there was a difference. Some people were sending their children to preschool, and they were reading and learning, and they were off and running. And then the geniuses out there would say, oh, don't worry, by third grade, everyone equals out. That's if you're in a homogeneous society and everybody learns exactly the same way. Like your age. Everyone moves chronologically the same way. But you don't learn chronologically. you develop differently. And having that, and having achievement gaps, there's no way we could put our kindergarten teachers under that pressure to get them started with literacy, learning to read, learning to write, and off and going into first, second, third grade. It really became a slower downward trend. So we applied. Ms. Shiroka, thank you. I called her up one day and I said, we have a grant. She said, great. I said, preschool, early education, free, no charge. Great. I said, she goes, what's the catch? It's due 3 days from now. And so she had to get partners. We had to write it, grab Miss Hawk, get it all together. And then it wasn't my fault, it wasn't Miss Shiroka's fault. It came to us. The state always gives you, it says on April 1st, and it says it's due April 29th, and you get it April 26th, even though it says on the date April 1st. Somehow, maybe their mail's a little different than Amazon or something, but Miss Shiroka was Miss Rumbo, was Miss Hawk. We grabbed Mr. Harry, we grabbed our partners at Accelero for space, and we put a grant together, and we were awarded a grant. And we're now doing free full-day pre-K. Full update to one-to-one tech plan. So when we listen, I know people are saying, well, Doc, our Google Meets gets, crowded. We sometimes get kicked off. We don't see pictures. We have 6,000 plus children on at one time. That highway gets crowded. We have a plan with Comcast. It's not Comcast anymore. It's Altice. And they say, we're going to get to that. Put that order in. We are still waiting. They say, we're a little bit busy. And so we have the plan to be able to have everyone on and no disruptions, but that's not where we are right now. However, where we were is everyone had a computer. And we heard from the teachers, and they said, we need better computers. So Ms. Shiroka and her team, we went out and bought better computers to provide. That only happens when you have a plan. You can't do that on a dime. And we had a tech plan, a strategic thinking of preparing kids and bringing them into their future, not our past. And so we had one step ahead of many others, and that's because as we continue to budget, we know there's not just, you don't get one-to-one and say, okay, we're done. You got to refresh them. There's going to be repairs. There's new technology. There's new servers. There's new abilities that we are just continuing to monitor and budget, sustaining our strategic thinking of preparing kids for their future. Completion of the new North Brunswick Township Middle School on time and on budget. That's a strong commitment. That's a strong commitment, 200,000 square feet. And boy, to do it when the pandemic hit it in March. It was supposed to be delivered by the end of May. We got delays, and we pushed and pushed, and we had it on time and on budget, and even through a pandemic the last 3 or 4 months. We're 90% complete with our solar panels. You may have seen throughout all our schools. We were able to fund $15 million of upgrades through the district, throughout the district. That's why we say parallel paths. That was a kind of a focus that we're just not going to build a new school and say, okay, we're here. What about our other schools? What about upgrading our other schools? And, well, we needed about $15 million that we did not want to go out to the taxpayers. So how did we fund it? We upgraded our roofs through a roofing plan over the last 10 years, and they were prime for solar. Solar pays us to fund $15 million worth and have a positive cash flow. I think, Ms. Hawk, we were about $160,000 cash flow, and we're going out. Now, you're going to say the new middle school doesn't have solar. The grid was saturated. They say you can't put solar on your new middle school, even on a brand new roof. And then if you notice by the Walgreens, there's a senior center going up by the township. The township's building a senior center. They expanded the grid. So what did we do? We're approving a request for proposals, and looking for, which we'll get, additional solar on our roofs, which will add to that positive cash flow and where's that money going? It's going back to the infrastructure, so we don't have to go out to anybody in the community and say, listen, we got to fix this, we got to fix that. It'll be part of the budget cycle. That's what parallel paths mean. We got to take care of that new school and the upgrades, but all along we have older schools. We need boilers. We need, how do you proactively take care of your house? If you wait for it to break down, you're rushing, you're paying 3 times as much because you're calling in the middle of the night on Saturday, Sunday, or you call Mr. Brockman who'll come in and fix your plumbing, so get his number. But if you call a regular plumber in the middle of the night and weekends, you're lucky to get him, first of all, but if you do, you're paying a lot more than if you planned for an upgrade and you kind of went through what we call proactive maintenance check. Our roofing plan, $15 million. Many years ago, we said we need new roofs. And the state was, at one time, was giving us ROD grants, regular operating district grants, and they were matching 40% of any structural grants that qualified, such as roof. First 2 years, we were getting 40% reimbursement. And then guess what happened? The state ran out of money. They learned now, I think they're printing it now, so they should have, but that's a new trick. But so we said, that's not gonna stop our focus. And we're not going out to the taxpayer and saying, taxpayers, we need you to pass a referendum for roofs. Shame on any board that does that. You need to prepare, you need to plan, you need to budget. All the while fixing our athletic fields, our classrooms, and that's what we did. And so over the last 10 years, about $15 million worth of roof work. We have $1 million worth of roof work, $790,000 this summer. And there'll be one section of the high school, one more section of high school, and we'll come full circle of completion of our roof work. So these are great news and we're sustaining it. But we do have challenges. As you can see, duplication of resources, COVID, maintenance, achievement gap. They're still there. We're closing it, but it's still there. Increased special ed services. We do a great job. Thank you, teachers. But when I first came here in 2007, we had 105 students out of district. I think we were like 28 now. Why? Because as part of our core beliefs, all children belong in our schools. And all means all. They're just as special, just as talented, just as needed in our population, our student population, as any other student. So we want to bring every program back that we could. There's some we can't. Sometimes we even lose in court because families just say, no, I want school X, Y, or Z is better. So sometimes the courts tell us we can't keep them back. But from 105 to 28, you have to maintain it, you have to sustain it. You can't do it in one budget, you have to continue it. Improve our tech plan, our maintenance plan, our curriculum plan. We need to enhance our strategic plan as it's ending. We went from Intel to PACES to our pillars. Well, we backed off because during a pandemic, it's very difficult to try to do take existing strategic thinking and then go out there and do it because too much focus will be on the immediacy of the pandemic. And you gotta be very careful when you strategically think. We can handle the immediacy, but what do we need? What do we look out for the future? What's in the future for us? And how can we budget for it? How can we create that incremental thinking that we have to be prepared? So, and then you see the parallel paths. That's that whole idea that we just can't build a new school and say, okay, we're here, while our other schools fall apart. And just quickly, one of the great problems you can see, here we go. $7.9 million of budgeted money from 21, 22. 18, 19, it was 3.8. In 2011, I think it was 250,000. So as we built our budget, this is what we owe. It comes through us, and our students go to another county, go to a couple different charter schools, and we're funding it. And you receive no extra funding. It's 90% of the cost of children, 90% of your cost per pupil, minus transportation. We're up to $7.9 million. It's a problem. Again, charter school parents, it's your choice. We support your residents, your family of North Brunswick. It's our job. What we are fighting here in North Brunswick is to get equitable, fair funding. So that's what we're talking about. Don't say North Brunswick's getting X amount and then it goes out the back door as we get billed for this $7.9 million. So the tax levy, again, without charter schools, that extra couple $1 million would have been $11 decrease per month. And so for all those doing your homework, $132 per year, per the average assessed home. And many things, I won't read it. It's not just good budgeting, it's year in and year out. It's everyone from all our supervisors, staff, committing to conservation, cooperative purchasing, looking at it and negotiating good retirements and consolidations, benefit contribution, benefit structures, constantly looking at the best way to provide for our staff and save money. And we never forget to say thank you to our staff when the state all of a sudden a couple of years ago required everyone to contribute to their benefits, which seems like everyone should contribute. But for 100 years, teachers were always told that if you come in, you'll get good benefits at a good price, you won't have to contribute. And they changed that, which was fine. And everyone agreed that it's been changed, but they went from 0 to 100 in 4 years. And net checks were coming home that people were, after 4 years, were losing money every year, even with a raise. So it was a difficult time, and we understand that, so we say thank you. We know. We say thank you for the community, because in the community, the town's ratables are going up. Now, that's another lecture for another day, how that impacts the budget, but it positively impacts us. If our township was an island of 5 houses and we needed $10,000 to run the school budget, and 5 houses, every house gave $2,000, and we built 5 new houses and a new store, and they added and we didn't increase what we needed, every house would be reduced, and we wouldn't need as much from each house. That's what ratables is about. The value goes up, and what the value we get back, we don't have to charge as much for each house. Or if we charge the same, the net return to us goes up. So thank you, North Brunswick Township, making it a great place to live as well, because the ratables continue to go up. I want to thank Amy. She is the grant guru, monitors the grants. Everyone here who deals with Amy knows that she checks it twice and sharpens the pencil, and we get every dime possible. These are grants that get monitored by the state and federal government. As you know, tonight's agenda, we're going to recommend Amy to be permanently assistant superintendent. Congratulations, Amy. And tonight we're also going to name Amy's successor, someone who's with us, who was a supervisor within those programs, went out to be a successful principal, and we're happy to say we're going to be recommending her to the board to take over Amy's spot to continue that grant funding. Every nickel needs to be accounted for, not just to spend. Is it working? Does it need to be adjusted? Do we have to monitor? It's important that you monitor and adjust and look at and get feedback and say, it's not working. We tried this. We need to move it. We're just not going to put good money into bad results. So it's very important. It's more than just accepting money and allocating it and saying we're done. It's a year-long process. And trust me, if the OFAC, Office of Fiscal Accountability, comes in, they will come in and they look, their job is they pay people to find mistakes. And once they find mistakes, you have to have a public meeting, you have to have a public hearing, and give the money back with a resolution. Thank God we're not doing that here in North Brunswick. We can't. And when I interviewed Amy a long time ago, I said, Amy, the first time it happens, I hope you get your resume ready, because it'll be the last time. You will check every nickel, because it's the appearance. It's not impropriety, but it's an appearance like, oh my God, they're giving money back. And what happens is you give the money back, and then you have to supplement it. You give it back from the general fund. You have to take it out of your own budget to give it back, because the money's been spent already. And I'm happy to say it hasn't happened. So whoever's replacing Amy, God, I wouldn't want that job. Maintenance, and I'll go through it. You don't understand. There's more than a 1.2 million square feet of buildings. We've added to it millions. So you think about carpet replacement, light replacement, ceiling tiles, knobs in your bathroom. You have to maintain all that. Glass, shades, carpet, lawn. Oh my goodness. And you know, as a school, we can't just spray Roundup. Spray Roundup is great because we can't even spray any chemicals whatsoever. So there's a lot more when you look at, and the maintenance continues. I want to thank Paul Carroll. Is that you, Paul, behind that mask? Hey, Paul, thank you and your men, your team, for continuing to do this because they too were in the front lines, and when no one was in the buildings and we were all home, Paul and his men were in here cleaning, working, and maintaining our buildings. So our special education, we continue to grow, bringing children back. This was restored. Our increased services, cross-grade expansion at the high school, ESY's extended school year, preschool disabled. One of the things we always remind people, that's a rolling admission. Unlike kindergarten, you turn 5 before October 1st, you register for kindergarten, you're all set. You get identified for early intervention services, EIS. You could be 3 years old, 4 years old in April, and we have to make room for you. So it's part of a budget. We built that in to make sure you have to have that contingency built in. And of course, our evaluations are ongoing, and we do an outstanding job. Transportation, you'll see tonight, we discussed at the business operations, 0% increase. That sounds great, except we've been gouged by the transportation companies. The 0% is from last year, which they've charged us. The increase was about 17%. And we are adjusting about $500,000. We discussed, should we go out for a bid again? So 0% is just on the last year's previous, but the total increase is about 17%. Because we finally realized if we go out again, here's the problem. There's a supply and demand issue. There's not enough drivers and people taking on those contracts and willing to drive. We could go out and lose even more money. So we decided we shouldn't roll the dice, and we're going to take it and we'll make it work. So it's a big problem. Transportation budget, 17% increased costs of COVID. There was a lot of savings to budgets, but not in that area, about 65% due to COVID. And another way of funding charter schools, we are required to provide busing. Unlike our parochial partners, where children go to parochial schools, which we support. Again, they live in our community. We have a responsibility to transport. We could give them aid in lieu. We cannot give charter school students aid in lieu. We must bus them. And the cost to go out to another county by bus is astronomical. And of course, we're happy. This is the non-exciting part when we say cost avoidance. When people say, oh, how much are we getting back for our energy conservation? Well, we have a cost avoidance of $6.1 million. Cost avoidance means we didn't have to raise the budget, so you really don't see that. But boy, if we didn't do that, it would certainly be felt. But all these things together allow you to get to zero. And of course, that's not by my judgment, our focus on energy. We were green focused well before it became fashionable. Well before it became fashionable. So we built it up. We have not only a state green ribbon award, a national. So we sent people to Washington, D.C., and to receive our awards in 2018 for the 19th school year. Oops. Uh-oh. So I go back to the scale of justice. What does that mean overall? 2022 general budget, because everyone knows from class in college that 21-22 school year is FY22. So our FY22 general budget, we have $120 million. Our general budget, state aid is $34.3 million. Just 7 years ago, $93.4 million. State aid was $11 million. The growth of the budget was $26 million, 26.6. So you add 26.6 to 93, you get 120. And you add 22.6 on 11.7, you get to 34.3. That means our budget grew by, you look at how we grew, 84% of the growth of our budget has been funded by increased state aid. Why is that important? This board had me lobbying on their behalf, Ms. Gonzalez, with, I don't know if she was vice president, but Ms. Clarabelle Cortez, who was on the board, signed, and we sued the state. They said, Dr. Z, you need to take this and as far as you can go with it. They gave me that permission. So we knocked on a lot of doors. We formed coalitions. And I was proud when Senator Sweeney had Senate hearings, and he sent me a letter thanking me to testify to help lobby for the SFRA, School Funding Reform Act, which started in 2008, but wasn't enacted, wasn't able to be funded. Through S2 and A2, which is the operationalizing of the SFRA, North Brunswick has been the recipient of that $22.6 million extra. Why? Because our taxpayers were paying more than a local fair share, and our adequacy, we were more than $43 million in a hole. They still owe us money, but this is how we were able to share our taxpayers to maintain our educational integrity, but we have a fiscal responsibility. So it's been hard work. It's been a lot of work. A lot of support from the Board of Education. They all know all this. I had to calm Ms. Gonzalez down numerous times, and I would tell her, we got another $11 million. She goes, well, I want 33. True or not true? So we continue to work on that because it's on behalf of that scale of justice for our community. Our promise is kept in 16-17. As we started paying off the debt, this is what we gave back. $225,000 was an early year. $1 million, $1.3 million, $800,000, and this budget includes $900,000. Total appropriations and savings for taxpayers, $4.8 million has been paid off without increase in taxes yet. So that 5-year span, we are into a 20-year loan now. Now, many of you say, heck, I'm not going to be around here in 20 years. The people are going to benefit. Well, you don't do things to benefit you. Although their board members are elected, they're not politicians. The credit is, how do we serve our children today, balancing the needs of our taxpayers with the needs of our educational program? Now, you know, I'm giving a lot of credit to the board. My evaluation doesn't mean anything. I'm out of here, right? So I don't need to curry favor with the board. But I'm very proud to say that the reason why 15 years here in North Brunswick was because I work with great board members who got it. They get it. And to get it allows the educators, the leaders, the teachers to do their job, and their job is to find resources and support and an understanding, what is our mission, how do we support it, what do we create policies, what do we need to do to get it done, and then put us out there to get it done. Have we made mistakes? Absolutely. We go back hat in hand and tell the board, we're sorry, but give us another chance, and they have. Because nothing is perfect. We're an imperfect organization, very complex. So I end where I began. 0 is 0. We have some variables. Department of Ed review, we're in great shape. They said yes. Retirements, benefit rates. You saw transportation shortages, charter school. Why can charter schools still hurt us? They could have increased enrollments. So we would be responsible. So our budget is pretty much set. So those transportation shortages, and we go out to bid, if we went out to bid, or now we have to adjust, we have to do within the $137 million that we have for all that we do. That's for 1,100 plus employees, millions of square feet of buildings, all that you see that operate a district. At that point, I promised Ms. Shiroka, I had her fooled. She said, how many slides I said, I'm going to do 2 slides. That was about 20 slides. But it's only about 10% of the presentation we had in March. So it's the final budget. Madam President, I do present to you, and we will open up the floor for public questions. I'll first start with the board, but then we'll open up the floor for public questions on the budget only. Ms. Board Secretary, is that correct, Rosa?
Yes, it is.
Yes, so first I will start with the board. Board members, any points, any comments, any thoughts before that I may have missed in a Reader's Digest version of our year-long work to bring a great budget? Okay, then at this point, we can open up the public session for questions and comments on the budget presentation and the budget only. I'll move out of the way. You don't get to get a cool mic like this, but you will get a chance to talk on the podium. Ms. Hawk, I do not see anybody.
I do not see anyone, Dr. Zakowski.
So then, before we have a motion to close the public portion on the budget, questions only, comments, I want to take some time to voice my gratitude, give a big thank you. First, I'll start with the business office, Ms. Hawk. I also want to congratulate Ms. Hawk because are you on tonight? Becoming a BA? Ms. A, she's only assistant BA. Yeah, real slacker. So we decided to really challenge her. Now, Ms. Hawk, who was a executive with a degree in finance from a accredited university. Went on to be JA, raised her family, went to JA. I think it was JA where you were an aide. And we recognized the talent and said, you need to get in the business department. So she was payroll, business manager, accountant, assistant to the BA, assistant BA, and I'm proud tonight to recommend to the board that she's going to be the new business administrator for the district. It's time. She deserved it. She earned it. So I want to thank you. Although we have an official, I know people say, is there really a Dr. Brian Folkowski? Absolutely there is. He kind of spends only a couple days a week, and he'll be the assistant BA for the next year as his role reversal. He's been a great help, a great mentor to Miss Hawk. Unfortunately, I spend a lot of time on that side as well. It's just my nature. So I hope she doesn't mind too much, and she has 2 more months to like it, and then she could tell you the truth. However, I want to thank you, your staff. There's a lot of work. I want to thank the principals, our supervisors. There's a lot of channels to get a budget together. I get to nap in the ivory tower and wait till all the numbers come in, take out my red pen, and have fun. But it's really the hard work. And we asked the staff this year, we asked the principals, and we reviewed it with them. And Ms. Whalen will tell you, we were very pleasantly surprised and happy. They were so understanding and said, look, we can make it go this year. We can do it. And the want versus needs, and they did a great job, all of it, from all of our district level folks to our school level folks, to our teachers, to our staff, from Paul, capital programs, to the point where we present a great budget. So, Ms. Hawk, thank you. Thank you to everyone. I want to thank the board. As we meet in committees, we segment it, we break it up, and you really don't get a good view of the entire until that 3.5 hours on a Saturday morning. Miss James was traveling, and she called in and was listening and voting from. So we thank you for just because of concern. We thank the board members. Had to listen to me again. I apologize. So we will just say, I just want to say thank you. It wasn't easy, but it certainly was worthwhile. And Monday night, I will be addressing the township, the mayor and council. I will remind them. R0, we're hoping they follow suit as it was promised to me. Because we only represent 65% of the total tax levy. The other 25% is the township. And the remainder is the county. County government. There's an essay, thesis, doctorate study on duplication. But that's another story for another day. But saying all that, thank you. So many contributors. We will now present, Ms. Hawk, we will now ask you to make a motion to close the public portion of this response to the budget.
Yes, if someone from the board could please make a motion.
So moved.
And can I have a second, please? Second. Thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez. Mr. Brockman. Mr. Brockman arrived a few minutes late. I just wanted to make note in our minutes. Mr. Brooks.
Here, yes.
Mr. Duran-Harris.
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Mr. Ligori.
Yes.
Dr. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
This portion of the meeting is closed.
Board, we have work to do.
Yes, sir.
Center stage, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. You can take your body packs off and put them at your seats and your microphones. Please turn your body packs off and put them on the table in front of you so all your mics are off. You're muted, but you should turn off your body. You can take them off for now until we open again. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Yes, I want to make sure that happens so we're all off.
President, Ms. Gonzalez is saying, we all feel bad. Sorry, our back to you, so.
Oh.
But we're trying to. Madam President, we need to pick up on page 2, number 7. Now we have to adopt the budget officially.
Okay, found it. I move to authorize the adoption of the fiscal year 2021-2022 school district budget as submitted to and approved by the New Jersey Department of Education. And the resolution for same is, be it resolved that the proposed budget be approved for the 2020-21 school year, and the superintendent and school interim business administrator be authorized to submit the proposed budget to the Middlesex County Office of the State Department of Education for approval as follows, and as listed on page 2.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Liguori. Mr. Brockman.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks. Mr. Duran Harris.
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Mr. Liguori.
Yes.
Dr. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez. The budget has been approved.
Ms. Hock made the record show that I think there's a typo.
Yes, where is that?
Page 2.
Where it says 2021, 2020.
Yes, I see that. Thank you.
It just has to follow suit. We know. It's
Absolutely.
Fiscal year 22. Thank you. Just for the record.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following board minutes: conference regular public Zoom meeting on March 24th, 2021, and the budget workshop meeting March 20th, 2021.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was that? Mr.
Brockman.
Brockman, thank you very much. Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth? The minutes have been accepted.
None today, Madam President.
Any reports?
Madam President, we'll go right to
Ms. Gonzalez, your mic is not on?
No.
I don't think.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So, Madam
Thank you.
President, our no old new business reports, but I'll begin with my administrative report, as it'll be brief, as the budget and presentation from Parsons really took a lot of time, but I do want to let everyone know, and you'll get more about it, hear more about it. Exciting news. I just received a call from the U.S. News and World Report for the second year in a row. We've been ranked as one of America's top performing high schools. So congratulations to Mr. Neller, his team, central office, second year in a row. Every one of the metrics that we had from the previous time, from every 2 years from U.S. News and World Report, it was increased. So congratulations. Next, I would like to congratulate, and more to come on that. Looking forward to hanging a second banner up. I would like to congratulate our North Brunswick Township High School junior, Christian Dawson. This is something near and dear to my heart. He had a hole-in-one at the Meadows Golf Course, par 3, 150 yards, one shot. Thank goodness he brought a second pair of pants because he had a hole-in-one. But that's true, he really had a hole-in-one. Sorry for the bad joke, but he had a hole-in-one. I also, tonight's agenda, we do have some approvals. Tuesday, June 1st, and this is the current calendar. June 1st this year, we have a snow day that we have to give back, so the adjustment will be the district will be shut, and Tuesday, June 1st is the day after Memorial Day. I shared with the various committees that we took a survey, either give an extra day during the spring break, end the school year one day early, or a day after Memorial Day, and I think Ms. Shiroka, I think it was like 70% for the extra day after Memorial Day weekend from the staff, so it was great to get their feedback. Also, Tuesday, June 8th, I've been informed by the township, as you know, our schools are used for voting. There's an election primary, and although the presidential election, it was most non-attendance was encouraged and required, the election primary, it will be throughout our schools. So we will have a school day, but it will be all virtual. We'll notify the parents just to inform the board about that. And even better news, the governor has released the strict standards of graduation and indoor facilities. So the 10,000-seat arena, Cure Insurance Arena that we used to go to before we went to the RAC, the Rutgers, who still will not open up their facility for graduation. Thursday, June 17th, 3 o'clock, high school graduation. We're happy to announce that we believe between 4 and 5 tickets for each of our graduates, one graduation, air-conditioned facility, and we could give a proper send-off. If you remember last year during COVID, we had multiple graduations. People couldn't attend, limited it outside. We canceled one day. We had to have it the next day because it rained. So I'm just happy to announce we're bringing back, and you'll hear more about not only that, we've been able to procure the entire use of the one in Edison. Pines Manor, thank you. How could I forget? Mr. Amori, I'm sorry. Pines Manor to have our senior prom. So we're trying to return to normalcy. We will be following strict regulations. They initially said no dancing. They're now allowing dancing.
Amen.
Which makes sense. We had a wrestling season. I don't know if you know, wrestling. Many dances are close to wrestling, but we'll try to keep it up and up. So just an FYI, pre-K registration. Again, you heard tonight on the budget presentation, we have free full-day pre-K. We're at 80% capacity. We are still taking families, if your child's 4, before October 1st, to get on our wait list. 732-317-6302 or mbtschools.org. Please register. It helps us with the wait list to organize and make sure we try to get everyone a seat as we endeavor to make 100% availability at some point through our strategic planning. But right now, we're at 80% and we're creating the wait list. Kindergarten registration is ongoing. We take 100%. Full, free, full-day kindergarten, 732-289-3040 or mbtschools.org. Go on our website. You can put in your street address if you're not sure which school where you will be hosting the kindergarten, where you'll be going, your child will be going. It tells you right there. You can locate it. Or you can give us a call, 732-289-3040, and it must be 5 before October 1st. 5 years old before October 1st. And last but not least, I just want to thank I thought I saw Miss Engel here.
She was.
I want to thank her again. We had a wonderful program, free COVID testing for our staff, our community, their children, families. We have now discontinued that just for now because it was not being utilized now, and we just don't want to waste doctors and nurses taking the tests and so on. So that program, because now the movement obviously is vaccinations, and however, our staff knows, our community knows, our virtual health office, a phone call away. If you're not sure, if you need to get a test site, if you need our help, we'll still be there. We're just not doing the Tuesday, Thursday COVID testing at the new middle school right now. Same doctors, same staff will be going to another site where there's more traffic. It's good to know that we are not needed to do the testing as much, but we'll certainly guide you, the public, anywhere. So, Madam President, that concludes my report. Administrative report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion to...
Nope.
No, sorry.
Our students are not here.
I'm jumping the gun.
Dr. Z, I have a student report that I can read.
Oh,
for our
thank you, sir.
students. So Ojal and Sarah aren't able to attend, but I have a report in their stead. SGO held our elections for SGO and class office for the 2021 and 22 school year. The newly elected candidates will meet next month to begin planning our events and activities for the next school year. Next week is Spring Pep Week. Students will participate in theme days such as Camo Day, Star Wars Day, and College Day. The week will culminate in our Blue and Gold Day with the viewing of the virtual pep rally to honor our spring athletes. Also during this week, we will be holding a food drive to assist our Raider Home Plate program. And finally, members of the staff as well as the senior class officers are working on different events to honor the class of 2021. So we thank our students and we miss them.
Thank you, sir. Any committee reports?
Madam President, I'd like to give a a report on the Community Relations Committee.
Thank you.
So we met on Wednesday, April 14th at 7:30. We discussed the grab and go updates. As of that week, we had 1,100 grab and goes on Monday, the 12th, 1,400 on Tuesday, April 13th. And the grant that the grab and goes are through will be through June 30th. We discussed also about possibly wanting to reapply for the grant. We discussed the ribbon cutting at the new middle school, which we hope to do before the end of the school year or sometime over the summer. We discussed also the virtual job fair, putting that on hold, something that we definitely would like to circle back to. Just, of course, a lot going on right now. We talked a bit about our COVID testing. I know that Dr. Z had mentioned that it's discontinued at this point, but you know, we were definitely pretty successful with that over the course of the last couple of months. We discussed pre-K and kindergarten registration. We discussed that there was 336 seats available. The rolling admission was coming in, and our 3-year-olds are included in that. We discussed a little bit about our NJDOE school performance reports, our summer academic programs. We're having extended school year. The program, we hope to have it in person during the month of July. It's half days in the morning. Elementary, middle, and high school programs are each going to be different. We'll be examining the learning gaps and looking to do what we can in the environment that we're in. We also discussed the Hall of Fame. We have 8 new nominations this year. We're hoping to do our ceremony in September. More to come on that. And then lastly, we talked about the monthly niche update. We had 900 views in March alone. Our high school continues to be the most viewed. Our elementary schools actually had a rise in activity in March over February, which is great. And our preschool section continues to be seen. And that concludes the community relations report for the month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cho. Any other reports?
Madam President, the Policy and Legislation Committee met on Wednesday, April 22nd. And during our meeting, we approved the second reading of the following policy and regulations. So we approve the second reading for student surveys, analysis, and/or evaluations, which is P 2415.05. Second reading of the employment of support staff members, which is P 4125. The second reading of administration of medical cannabis, political contributions, student records, recruitment by special interest groups, and the last one was earned sick leave law. They're all on the agenda for approval of the second reading. That ends my policy committee report.
Thank you, sir.
Madam President, we had a student services meeting on April 14th. Some of the things discussed was the return to school update. We're about 25% at the high school level. We're seeing a 25% increase from the original numbers in March. In general, it went from about 1,440 to 1,590 students that are in person. Seem to be trending upward, which is great. Talked about state assessments a little bit, and some of the waivers that are going on with that. We also discussed the graduation rate, how it's trended the last 6 years from 78.9% to 93.2%, and the AP classes and how that affected some of those, and some of the AP classes that we've given or increased over the last couple of years. We also had discussions about ESY, some of the challenges with that, and that concludes the report for the 14th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, on April 21st, the Personnel Committee did meet, and we discussed some retirements. We want to thank everyone for their service. There are several retirements listed on the agenda, as well as some resignations of certain staff members. We also want to thank them as well for their service. We also discussed new hires of non-certificated staff. We have some new substitutes, which again is wonderful, again, in light of the current pandemic that we're undergoing. And we like to be ready to meet the moment in the event that substitutes are needed. We discussed some new hires as well, reassignments, FMLA leaves. As Dr. Zakowski did announce, the change in position for Miss Amy Rumbo, Miss Rosa Hawk. Congratulations to them. And at the appropriate time, we will move to adopt the Personnel Committee report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, the Negotiations Committee met on April 20th. During that meeting, we discussed and had an update regarding the New Jersey State Educators Plan. That concludes the negotiations report at this point, Madam President.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe, just want to add, tonight you will see we asked for a approval to seek the change from Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield to Delta Dental. It has to be publicly approved. I just want you to know and share with that Ms. Rumbo and I met with the association, and we share the effectiveness, because as you know, in our contract to change, we must provide documentation of as good or better. So the change to Delta Dental from Horizon Blue Cross is a savings to the district, but an increase of availability to our staff. It was a wonderful presentation. If you don't mind if I share that?
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful presentation because the utilization of the current staff of in-network dentists was about 73% of the dentists were in-network. We overlaid that with how it would be represented and covered by Delta Dental, and it was up to 92-point-something%. That was shared with the association, so I asked tonight for you to approve, to give us permission to go through the paperwork of changing that, but with a complete agreement that the association will sign off on equal or better than coverage. But we don't meet again as a group till end of May, and you know paperwork takes a while, so we have a session scheduled. Calendars are all, but we'll be meeting early next week with the association as they look through the numbers. I am confident they will validate exactly what this committee was presented, as a lot of work was put forward to it to contain and maintain our level of benefits as we should for our staff, but also get better service and more cost effectiveness. So I just want to cover that. So
Thank you.
Tonight's it's on the agenda tonight.
Thank you. Any other reports?
Madam President, Business Operations Committee met on Wednesday, April 21st. Among the items we discussed was this, we would do a final budget presentation this evening, as we all heard. We had a great discussion about the Linwood Phase 2 update, which is looking remarkable. Overall, the parking lot is still stone. The canopy is in for the Early Childhood Center. The sidewalks are mostly in. About 70% of the flooring is completed. We're happy to announce that we're making such great progress that extended school year is going to be held there as of June 28th. We do have several change orders on the agenda this evening. On page 19, items 3I, J, K, and L. They're only change orders number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we really haven't had many change orders on this project at all. Data center, $5,000. An IT office, $23,000. Some floor and ceiling work, about $52,000. Some ceiling and grid work, an additional $16,000. It's important to note that because we haven't had many change orders, we're still significantly below our allowable threshold. So very good news there. We're anticipating a temporary certificate of occupancy, a TCO, sometime in the middle of May. Fingers crossed that everything works out with that date, and then we can begin to slowly move into the building afterwards. In terms of some signage, the road and traffic signs are in, the identification signs are still to come. So all good progress on the Linwood update. On your agenda this evening as well, page 19, item 3M as in Mary, there is a solar change order for our transformer work at the high school. We'll be working with Schneider Electric as part of the ESIP for this project. In terms of timing, we discussed that we would try to get this done in July if possible. If it's not going to be feasible, we'll have to punt it until November. Dr. Zakowski mentioned the high school roofing update. Phase 1 is ready to go once the students are out of school in June. Phase 2 is going to be submitted to the state for approval sometime relatively soon. And again, once completed, all schools will have had new roofs incrementally installed within the last 8 to 10 years at no cost to the taxpayers. We discussed some bids. A solar bid on May 11th will be opened. Our lawn bid will be opened on May 4th. We discussed the difficulties with our transportation routes and those bids as well. And then just one final thing, in terms of the new middle school, we had a little conversation about the paver program that the Ed Foundation had run. We wanted to let the folks know in town that we haven't forgotten about you and that those pavers will be put in at a very soon to be determined time. And that concludes our report. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman of Business Operations, Mr. Liguori, I just want to add, great report, really captured what went on. It was one thing since that report, the Director of Special Services and the Supervisor of Special Ed approached Mrs. Soroka and I and said, although they were excited to think that we're going to have our ESY at the new building, the staff has come to them and said, it just may not work of all the moving and changing with the pressures at ending the school year and trying to get it to extend. So they asked, even though they initially were all excited that we'd be in a new building, maybe it wasn't such a good idea. So we have the ECC at in Milltown through August. So we will be using that. And we just, ESY is, we want to accommodate our children, our staff. They just felt it wouldn't be a proper way of opening up the new building, rushing in, moving everything, even though they initially thought it was a great idea. So I said, when Mr. Liguori gives a report, I will add that to the, editorial or edification of it. So I just wanted to add that too.
Thank you.
Any other committee reports?
So, Madam President, we do need a motion to accept the administrative committee and, of course, that student, formerly known as Mr. Liguori, student reports.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrative committee and student reports.
Second.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel? Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
All the reports are accepted.
Thank you.
So, Madam President, this is the time we're going to ask everyone, we're going to review our agenda. We are going to review page by page. It may seem we're going a little quick, but it's a consent agenda. Most of the agenda have been set. There's some highlighted portions, last minute retirements, some changes. So with your permission, I will let you start. We'll start from page 5.
Yes, sir.
I do want to note that it seems to be a double copy of the first 6 pages. So you go from page 5 to page 1. So if you could go from page 5, rip out, I think it's 1 through 6 again, and then start with 7. So you'll see, I do apologize, it must have been a copying error. After page 6, it goes to page 1 again. So,
I don't have that problem.
no, I ripped it out for you.
Oh, you ripped it. Thank you. How am I going to do that?
So page 5, we'll start with, if everyone.
Page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, Page 9. Page 10. It's exciting to see our new aquatics director on the agenda.
We're very happy, yes.
Yeah.
If you remember, that was 3 years in the making, and there were cuts last year, last minute cuts, so we're happy, yes.
Very thrilled, yes. Page 11. Page 12. And 13. And 15. And 17. And 18. And 19.
Madam President, just a reminder on letter G, Ms. Rumbo will continue to be working with the grant money until we officially make that change, but we listed the grant money for our appropriations. That, as you can see, which may seem kind of odd, the solid consolidated grant allocation, it's fiscal year 20, March 13th, when COVID first hit us, to September 30th, 2023. So much of the grant planning will be multi-phased, as it's not just all in one. We'll phase it, sustain it, and utilize it, but knowing it will not be recurring, as it'll be, there's a beginning and end, which is so we'll make sure that it's utilized to the best, makes the most sense and most help and assistance to the district, students, and staff.
Excellent. Page 20. And 21.
Okay.
Sir?
Yes, we have a big announcement.
Uh-oh.
We listed this, page 21, our new prices. So, Mr. Egan, can I have a drum roll, please? Thank you, Mr. Egan. I want the community to know we owe a debt of gratitude to Adam Sawchek, our staff, his staff, that work. We're going to give an official number, and the mayor's asked us to do a documentary on the work of this group providing grab and goes. Well, he doesn't even know this yet. I will be announcing at the council meeting, but I wanted to make sure the board knew this. You see the increases and prices for the next fiscal year. However, for the next fiscal year, starting July 1, 2021, all the way through June 30th, 2022, every student, whether they have free and reduced or they're a paying student, will pay 0 cents, $0 for every lunch served. We got a new grant that extends us from July 1 of this coming fiscal year all the way through the school year. Not one nickel will come out of a student and our family's pocket.
Wow.
So I want everyone to know we're approving the prices, but we will approve that grant at the appropriate time. We still have to have the price structure in place, but we were notified that grant, and so I will bring Mr. Sawchek, some staff members who've done the work, and to announce this wonderful grant for all of next school year. Kind of disappointed. I could have been sneaking in line for a couple, grab and goes. However, it's great for all of our staff. Every student, all of our students will be eligible for this. So,
Dr. Zukowski, I know that you have an incredible mind for numbers, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Uh-oh.
Approximately how many meals were served during this pandemic free of charge through our partnership with Chartwell's?
So we averaged, and so it's going to be a little average during the COVID time, during the schools in session, about 4,500 per day, counting total relief, so that's about 13.5. roughly 675,250 plus another, 6,000. So let's say, give or take, 700,000.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So amazing.
Very, very grateful for that partnership and for what we were able to provide to our families.
Yes, and like I said, the mayor recognizes that.
Mhm.
I think the board recognizes that. We'll be certainly celebrating that
Yes.
as in a time of need. And our folks, many, many mornings, 5 a.m., because they did not only prepare these grab and goes, they had to do it with proper spacing. It took a little bit more time, the mask, the gloves. So it was, an endeavor of love, endeavor of giving back, and also
citizenship,
a feeling of purposefulness. Purposefulness, is that such a word? Well, their purpose, they feel valued. They told me that was their return for their work to do this. So we want to thank them. We want to honor them. So next board meeting, they'll be here to say thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Page 21 and 22. And 24.
As you see, these are all our bus bids, 0%.
It's amazing.
No increase on the ridiculous increase from the previous year. Madam President, we just reviewed. Thank you, board members, indulging me for a few updates. So, Madam President, we do have to have a public session on these agenda items only.
Absolutely. So at this time, we'd like to open the floor for any questions from the public about our agenda matters discussed today. Only. Seeing there are no questions,
we need a motion to close it.
may I have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're closed. This portion.
Yes, the agenda items only, because
Yes.
it sounds confusing because we also have a public portion for anything come before the board. But first, we have some work. We have to get to number 15 on our agenda, which is the consent agenda.
I'll take that one, Madam President.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion, excuse me. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items: personnel 1 and 2, curriculum, miscellaneous, finance items 1 through 3, policy and transportation.
Second.
Mr. Brockman.
He said yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I apologize. Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris.
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Mr. LaGorrie.
Yes.
Dr. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
All these motions have passed.
Thank you.
Madam President and board members, if you could fast forward to page 24, number 16. Public session is back open for any matter before the Board of Education. Once you approach the mic, millions of viewers to change. Oh,
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. It's such an honor honored to be returning to North Brunswick team. It's nice that I have a lot of background in the district, and I think I'll have a lot to learn. I have a good teacher that I'm going to have right by me, but I also think I have a lot to offer. So I'm really, really thrilled that you've given me this opportunity. Thank you. It's been really great.
Any questions for Ms. Chen? I know you serious.
Look at everyone.
I think I taught Haley Toth. I think.
Yes.
I thought so. Like, I'm getting really old now.
Oh, wow.
Well, the board wants to know just one question.
Sure.
Did you apply for the job because you knew I was leaving? Just be honest.
No, I was kind of devastated to
Wow.
hear that. And like I said to Dr. Z, you know, I was really looking forward to his mentorship, but I'm sure that he'll be around to guide me if I need it.
Absolutely.
No, I was actually kind of devastated.
No.
But congratulations. I am very excited
No.
for you.
Well, welcome back, and we're very proud of the work you did. As I talked to your superintendent, your school absolutely loved you. And many years ago, you and I talked and said, I said, you're going to run a school someday. You said, no way. Is that true or not?
That is true. Dr. Z was the person who thought I could run a school.
So we're happy to welcome you back. You're going to do great work with the team, and I know this board will be equally as proud when they see the kind of work that you'll provide for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Madam President, I don't see any, sorry to put you on the spot, Mercy, but there was no other comments or questions, or so we're going to have a motion to close this second public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This session is closed, Dr. Z.
Well, it's really nice that you could say all in favor and close
Yes.
it. We're back to get close to normalcy. Not quite there yet, but we're going to go into closed session. So point of Mr. Misro, we're going to do it here. We're going to shut off our mics, as Mr. Egan said. We know that Mr. Sawcheck provided, so if the board, before we get into closed session, the board wants to go into room 241, I believe. There's, a little refreshment, something we could bring it back here. So why don't we have, go into close, we're going to ask someone to read our motion for closed session. Someone can run for a quick break. We're going to come back here. If Mr. Misro, you could keep everyone out of here. We'll open it back up. There's a few closed session items we need to discuss with our attorney and the board. So with that, Madam President, why don't we make a motion to close in closed session? And Mr. Bush, could we go a motion to closed session and then go for refreshments, or do we go to refreshments and? Oh, no. I just want to make sure we.
Make sure I get this Janet Jackson thing on here. Okay, so maybe that shows my age. I had somebody before called her Britney Spears. We got to get someone from more present day here. Yeah, so you can absolutely do that. We'd go to closed, and then we would convene in closed when you all were ready.
Okay.
But for the public's purpose, we would be explaining the reason for going to closed, and then we would do that.
Yep. Okay. So we have that. We're going to need a motion to go into close number 17, and then we'll tidy up, freshen up, and then we'll come back into close.
Sounds
Great.
good.
You want to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented exist, now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Attorney-client privilege discussion on personnel matters. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is closed and we can go into closed session.
That's you, Jonathan.
Can you hear me? Yep. Thank you. Yeah. I'd like to call
That's
to
you,
order
Jonathan.
this meeting of the North Brunswick Township Board of Education. At this, can I have a motion to return from close, please?
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are back in open
Yeah.
session.
At this time, should I raise? Stand up?
What's that?
Should I stand up? At this time, it is with great regret that on behalf of the Board of Education of North Brunswick Township, I accept the resignation
For retirement.
for retirement purposes of Dr. Sikowski, our superintendent. It is a professional and personal, difficult conversation to have, but we know that wherever Dr. Sikowski goes, there will be students and educators that benefit from his knowledge and his wisdom. And we've been lucky to be the recipients of that for many years. So on behalf of the Board of Education, of North Brunswick Township and the students and staff, I thank you for your service and I accept your resignation
For retirement.
for retirement. May I please have a motion to accept his resignation
So moved.
Second.
for the purpose of retirement?
They're fighting for the motion. Wait a minute.
Motion was Mr. Legori.
Mr. Legori.
Second was Mr. Brooks.
Yes, thank you very much.
And you want to
So much for-
Yes, I will take a full vote. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Miss James,
Yes.
Miss Keith,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
With immense regret, yes.
Dr. Patel,
Yes.
Miss Toth,
Yes.
and Miss Gonzalez.
Also with immense regret, yes.
Your resignation has been accepted for
Thanks.
retirement.
I know it's late. We have millions of viewers, so with your permission, can I address the board maybe at our next meeting?
You may, yeah, of course.
Because this would be effective June 30th would be my last day, and you certainly deserve more than a few minutes of comment. So I thank you for accepting my resignation for retirement, but I do think I would love to approach the board and the community at our next board meeting.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We have one more motion, and that is that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the board president and the board attorney to commence negotiations for the purpose of the board's eventual adoption of a contract for the position of acting superintendent of schools effective July 1st, 2021, with Janet Shiroka, pending approval of the Middlesex Executive County Superintendent of Schools. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Thank you.
Who was the first?
That was,
Oh, I'm sorry.
was
It
read
was
as information. So we need a first and second. Ms. Gloria read that as,
I move to permit the negotiations of the acting superintendent position with Ms. Janet Shiroka.
Thank you.
And Miss Keith. Very good. Mr. Brockman,
Here you go.
Mr. Brooks,
You got it.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Miss James,
Yes.
Miss Keith,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Dr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Miss Gonzalez.
Yes,
The motion has been approved.
thank you.
well,
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. May I have a motion to adjourn?
may I just, I'm still, I can't help myself. I just see Ms. Shiroka there, and I just think it would be appropriate if she wanted to say anything. I know it's only an acceptor. If she wanted to say anything as the board just formally approved to go into negotiations. You're not officially acting yet. They didn't officially kick me out yet, but I know you've been here, and I just didn't know if you wanted to address the
Yeah,
board.
and I apologize, I had not seen you, so.
That's okay. I don't know if you can hear me. I just wanted to say thank you very much to the board for their support, for Dr. Zakowski from his mentorship over the last 8 years. I know I was presented to the board, I think Mr. Liguori and Mr. Brooks, you were both here when I presented to the board 8 years ago to become the principal at Livingston Park. And it has been my honor to serve the community of North Brunswick, the Board of Ed, the parents, the students, and the teachers. And I couldn't be prouder to continue to hopefully represent them and continue the leadership that Dr. Zakowski has developed and really provided us in a district. And I think especially in a time now, with it's having been a difficult year, that I think our board and our leadership team has done a tremendous job of guiding the district through. And I think it's very important at this time to continue with those policies and keep that leadership moving forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's, unless,
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the meeting is now adjourned.